if needed, you have to plant some explosive into it, so to make sure that you get rid of the enemy at the time when the time is right.
All right, this is a wild interview. Yossi Cohen, the head of the Mossad, responsible for the crazy Beeper operation, which dismantled Hezbollah and some other crazy operations. Watch what he has to say to CBS. We're going to talk about it right afterwards.
News items in a minute, but there's something from the book very early on that I think will provide a context for everything we're going to discuss. And it's when you reference the successful Mossad effort to use beepers against Hezbollah, and you say that that particular mission, quote, reaffirmed Israel's reputation for exacting ruthless, sophisticated, and devastatingly effective revenge. That aura of strength helps to build unlikely, mutually beneficial relationships. For my audience, put all that together for them. What does that mean, and what did that operationally mean for you in your career?
Right. First, thank you very much for hosting me here, Major. It's a great honor to be in your show. And I'm very excited, because of the books coming out, and that's a very important discussion because of what's happening all the time in the Middle East right now. In operations, or specifically on this one of the pagers, which is one of a line of a very long line of operations that we have conducted, against our enemies in the majorly in the Middle East. There is a kind of a new concept that was invented something like 20 years ago. Even in the first Lebanon War in 2006, we've already used this kind of manipulated equipment that has to help us do three things: either to listen to our enemies and to understand what they say, to collect intelligence from within the organization. Number two is to tell us where they are. Like the pagers are not containing GPS locators, but others do. And number three, if needed, you have to plant some explosive into it, so to make sure that you get rid of the enemy at the time when the time is right. And when I offer it in the book, that it needs a kind of a sophistication, a determination, and a decision-taking process rightly, so to make sure that the enemy will understand at the right time that we are there to disrupt its, I would say, negative planning for the state of Israel. This is something that has to be very well understood in our organization inside the Mossad, and this is what we did.
And that reputation you talk about for sophisticated, ruthless, devastatingly effective revenge, how does that factor, as you suggested does, into Israel's reputation globally and its ability to protect itself and assert itself?
Well, I think that the reputation is something that has to be very well kept, not only because of the reputation only, but on the practical result of fighting our enemies. Inside the state of Israel for the last 77, 78 years, from 1948 till today, our existence is always something that we have to fight for. I think that October 7th is the kind of a thing that shows again, to the world that the state of Israel could be unsafe, and it should be safer and safer, as much as we can. So keeping up our reputation, or making sure that the reputation is always there, is not only for the reputation's sake or the sake of the reputation, but it always goes to the point that the defense and the security of the state of Israel and its citizens should be highly taken care of, and this is what we did for the last years. And I think that this kind of operations show that we have to invent ourselves again and again and again. We have to use everything that is in our power to make sure that the state of Israel will be guaranteed and well guarded from all these imminent threats that are still even today, and of course the last years. And more than that, I think that inventing ourselves is kind of a need to use not only our mental capabilities or keeping the reputation very high, but to use a super high-tech capabilities that are in the state of Israel, and to combine them with our operational abilities. And this is something that has to be worked upon, for the last years. And I know that it made a very good result, or made a very good outcome in the last very important battles, either in Lebanon, Hezbollah, or in Iran.
What a wild interview we just witnessed with Yossi Cohen. Now, some of the things he talked about are just, the world needs to take notice. The beeper operation, right? The famous, infamous beeper operation, the Mossad manipulated pagers used by Hezbollah. These devices literally allowed Israel not just to listen in, not just to track locations, but eventually neutralize threats and explode. Just wild. The world was shocked, right? This was technological innovation not seen before from any spy group. The Mossad was just leaps and bounds ahead of the FBI, the CIA, KGB, MI6, some other organizations. The tactical precision there was just incredible for the intelligence community. People weren't even aware that this was possible. And we know that Mossad has a crazy history, high-profile assassinations, particularly in response to attacks on Israeli citizens. That's the main thing we want to take away from here. Mossad is not just freelancing for fun. They are taking out the enemies of Israel. They took out Hassan Nasrallah, the head of Hezbollah. They could have taken out Khomeini, the head of Iran. They could have taken him out, the Ayatollah, but they didn't because Trump didn't want them to, right? We saw what happened after 1972, the tragic Munich massacre. The Mossad hunted down every single terrorist involved in that tragedy. Every single one was hunted down and killed. And we know the Mossad does not operate in isolation, right? Every single operation has a purpose, which is to protect Israel and sometimes Jews around the world, okay? Now, the amazing thing is that they combine not just technological task aspects, but human intelligence and military coordination. This basically ensures that Israel is just way above their threats in Lebanon, Gaza, Iran, and beyond. And to be honest, folks, I think this acts as a psychological weapon, right? Now, in terms of the future, the next Mossad operation could obviously involve cyber, if not already. We know that the Mossad has used cyber in the past, and in the future, it's going to be combined with targeted strikes. Other things which are speculative but plausible: assassinations combined with sabotage of infrastructure, cyber disruption, and high-tech surveillance of enemy networks. That's coming next. The Mossad did whatever the hell they wanted in Iran during the war. It was just almost considered to be outrageous. And that's coming up, folks. Israel and Mossad still has assets in Iran. And so if that becomes another war, and that's part of why Iran is afraid. And so this interview, one could call it explosive, no pun intended, was Yossi Cohen showing just a glimpse of what the Mossad has to offer. And his takeaway message: if you attack Israel, the Mossad will come and find you.